Good evening, and welcome to another segment of the new Black Leadership Coalition here live in the great studios of Intellectual Radio. My name is Gregory Singh, and I am the host sitting here with the co-host, but the founder of the new Black Leadership Minister, Brother Minister Michael Muhammad. And sometime, we have said, and it really makes sense. I'm gonna talk about that. So I'm gonna review him. That's gonna be part of my commentary. But I'm sitting here with brother student minister Michael Muhammad, and I'm gonna talk to you about students in a minute because I think it's gonna kind of segue into. And I know we got TJ on the line, and I'm going to open this up. I am one of the co-founders of the New Black Leadership. We have one of the co-founders of the New Black Leadership who's going to call in. He had some situations where he could not be here in the studio live, but nevertheless, he's over the airwaves. So we're going to get you in a couple of seconds, brother TJ Crawford. He's going to talk about some interesting things and a very powerful cultural event that's coming up. He's going to share some information regarding that. But I wanted to, before we get started with brother TJ, I wanted to say, TJ, in my commentary, I was talking to a brother who actually approached me, and I was at the gym, and he came up to me and he said, he looked at me and he said, man, he said, Farrakhan, he's backed by some powerful brothers. And I said, wow. I said, well, all praise is due to Almighty. I said, but let's be clear. Minister Farrakhan is backed by a powerful God.
That's right.
Had it, if it were not for God, the minister would have been in trouble. So I want to make that clear. But thank you, brother, because there are men and women that are followers, that are absolutely students of the honorable brother minister Farrakhan, that God has poured into them. God has deposited his spirit. We did not connect with him because we didn't have nothing to do. It was already in our DNA. So when people hear Minister Mike, yes, he's been influenced. Yes, I've been influenced. Yes, brother TJ Crawford on the live line been influenced. Yes, all of the members of the New Black Leadership, every single soul that is conscious in America have been influenced by the honorable brother minister Farrakhan, but the honorable Elijah Muhammad, the honorable Marcus Garvey. So I told that brother at the end of the conversation, I said, we are Farrakhan. I said, but what does that mean, Minister Mike? We are Farrakhan. See, when we talk about new leadership, that leadership have to be in tune, not with just a lecture, not with just a mosque experience where you are teaching is always important. Inspiring people is always important. But what is it that's in his mouth? What is it that's in the new leadership mouth? And I'm telling you, it's absolutely, when I said this to this brother, we gotta have leadership, new leadership, because the other so-called leadership, those individuals have sold their souls. They've been compromised. They have been compromised so much so that they wouldn't even invite the minister on their show to talk about the ban of Facebook or whatever. And so, but Mr. Al Sharpton, you can have Miss Linda. I think her name was it Steen Feinstein, or Ferris, the lady that was involved with the brothers in New York, the what do they call the park in New York? What the
Central Park 5.
Central Park Five, the prosecutor. But Sharpton, you can have her on your show trying to give her cover, but you're afraid. So that's why new leadership is important, because those individuals who have been compromised, they cannot deliver black people nowhere. They done, they finished, they have been compromised. It is not just Sharpton. I look around the country and you all giving him an honorarium doctrine. Come on, man. To do what is he doing? Nothing. I mean, maybe the networks can give him a trophy or give him a plaque, but he's not an example of good leadership, because you cannot fear the enemy. You cannot be scared, and you definitely cannot be about it just for money. So new black leadership is critical, because one of the major principles, one of the major characteristics is integrity. It's integrity. You got to have a level of integrity. Yeah, we are imperfect. Yeah, we got faults. Yeah, we're still growing. Yeah, we understand that we are not unified as much as we should be. But ham, we ain't sold out our soul to the enemy, to the devil. I mean, to people that are just outright evil. We got enough courage to speak truth to power. That's why when you look around the city, brother TJ, and I'm coming right to you in a couple of minutes, but when you look around the city, you see a void in leadership, Minister Mike. And when people sit down with you, they sit down with TJ, they sit down with brother Cy, they sit down with Lance, or they sit down with brother Johnny Muhammad, they sit down with Sister Kim, they sit down with Reven, they sit down with David. You know, when they sit down with Roland, or when they sit down with, any of the new black leadership, they sit down with us, they say in secret, they say behind closed doors, everything you all saying makes sense. Because truth makes sense to anybody that got any sense. But they say to me, well, I can't speak like that. I have to be a diplomatic coward. I have to be a strategic coward. I have to be a skillful coward. I have to be very careful, because I don't want them to take my job. I don't want them to take something from me. But anyway, I wanted to say that. And so we got our brother. This brother haven't been in the studio in a minute. Can't wait to see him in person, because I know in the last month or so, it's probably longer than that, he just received he's got his master's in is it clinical? You tell us, T. I don't want to mess it up, but I know you have made a huge accomplishment and you still on the case. And what I love about you, I call him the facilitator. He's the gangster facilitator. I mean, when this cat facilitates, he know how to get straight to the point. Not that he shut people down, but he's real deliberate in terms of making sure we arrive to where we are trying to go with a conversation, with a discussion, or with a plan. So I'm honored and very privileged that we have, wish you were in the studio, but nevertheless, we have on a live line our brother, one of the co-founders of the New Black Leadership, brother T.J. Crawford. What's up, brother T.J. Crawford?
I'm doing well, brother Greg. How are you?
Same fight, different round, stick and move, bob and weave. I feel so good that I think Golden State need me tonight.
They might need you. Crossover, pull up from half a couple times.
That's feeling a little too good on Mike.
If they don't put you on court, they're going to need you to do the pregame speech, because you got that part down.
Damn, did you say TJ, that's funny. What up, soldier?
I'm doing well. What's going on, Minister Mike?
Hey, brother TJ, thanks for calling in, brother. We got to get you in here still, though, brother.
Yes, sir. I'll be there one day. I'm trekking all over the city bicycle wise, so it wouldn't let me get out there and then make it back to the city in time. So the phone call is what it was for this evening, but we'll make it happen.
Yes, sir.
So, brother TJ, whenever I see, events around the city, even when you go and look at some of the events coming up in the city of Chicago, very often I always say, sometime to myself, what events are connecting us to our culture? What events are connecting us to who we are? What events will help reshape, re-guide, retool our people so it's not just an event? We do that big old thing every year. Well, I ain't gonna say we, but I've been out there a couple of times. But the house picnic, what they call the old school house picnic, and all those people, boy, if we ever came together like that for a cause, after we did our dancing and they doing their thing, but take a moment to say, let's refocus. But what you got going on, Brother T?
I guess tonight in particular, we got the Black Culture Week coming up. It's going to kick off this Saturday. June 15th is going to run all the way through June 23rd. Series of events that we've organized ourselves, as well as a list of other things that are going on, being put on by Black folks, or really all Black folks. I was about to say folks who, give credence and credit to Black culture, but in particular, we are highlighting Black-produced events, Black-owned services, Black-owned businesses, all under the theme of celebrate, commemorate, and collaborate. How do we celebrate Black culture, celebrate one another? How do we commemorate Black culture and historic events within the Black community through ritual or any type of traditional type of act? And then lastly, how do we collaborate, work together to make new contributions to the culture? So in that spirit of curated 8 days, 9 days of events, we start off on Saturday with the Juneteenth celebration in collaboration with the A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum with our brother David and Cassiopeia, and all the folks who are down with the Black Mall. So we're doing that. As part of that, we have a Welcoming the Warrior Black Martial Arts exhibition that'll be happening from 11 to 2 at the high school right across the street from the museum. That evening, we're doing our opening reception, awards reception, and fundraiser. We have 10 folks from the community that we are recognizing. It's called Celebrating the Black Man and Woman. So we have 10 men and women who are doing some awesome work in the community that we want to just kind of recognize and celebrate. Most of them are folks who I've known for a while. With this year in particular, I just kind of went through my mind and thought about, my friends who have been both supportive and influential around work that I've done and that others have done in the city. So we're celebrating them on that night. The next day, we're going to push people and be out ourselves at Real Men Cook, that Yvette Moyo and Rael Jackson has been doing for years. We'll be there at Hales Franciscan. On Monday, we have arts activism panel discussion. It's going to be co-hosted by Aisha Jaco, the Mural Foundation, formerly known as the Lupe Fiasco Foundation. She's the president of that. On Tuesday, we have a Black Culture Technology event that's going to be at the Quarry on 75th. On Wednesday, we have reparations, culture, and self-determination discussion. That should be real interesting. We got a lot of the ADOS folks coming through, and also we have Dr. Conrad World, who's going to be representing the NBUF and Pan-Africanist perspective as it relates to reparations and what's happening now. On Thursday, we're having a She's Powerful conversation down at the Bureau Bar in the West Loop over at UIC. Also that Thursday is the kickoff of a professional development series that we're doing at the Community Youth Development Institute. Specifically, it's called Engage, Heal, Educate, and Evolve. We're going to look at Black culture wellness as a community and individual wellness approach and how it can be utilized within school and community settings for both staff, administration, and students. So myself, a brother by the name of Dr. Flavian Prince of Meta 24, and my mom, Dr. Karen Taylor Crawford, MD, who's a child and adolescent psychiatrist, will be sharing our perspective and some of our tools to do those four things: engage, heal, educate, and evolve. That takes place both Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 to 12 p.m. That Friday night, we will be doing a pre-Silver Room block party discussion on Do You Still Believe in Black Love? That'll be at the Silver Room on 53rd and Hyde Park. Then Saturday, we'll be doing a Black Culture Wellness Fest in collaboration with the HBCU softball tournament. The annual softball tournament will be out at Rainbow Beach on 79th in the lakefront. There's a bar crawl. The bar crawl actually is this Saturday coming up. That is also happening. We're supporting that, and then we're encouraging folks to go to church, to go to some place of spiritual worship, and as the official space for folks celebrating Black Culture Week, we're inviting them to the new Mount Pilgrim Baptist Church. They have a Ma'afa Redemption project that they are doing over there, so that's still directly in line with what we are doing for Black Culture Week. And we're also going to be putting up a list of, just like I said, other services, businesses, places, and spaces that celebrate Black culture or give credence to Black culture. In that, we're defining culture as the values and principle sets of a particular people as expressed through various mediums, be it dance, be it music, be it spoken word, be it the way that we do business, be it the way that we engage folks at our institutions, anything that expresses who we are and the values and principle sets, that is what culture is. So the thought is that, Black culture is magical. Our movement is magical. Our expression is magical. But when it's been stripped of the substance, when it's been stripped of the values and the principle sets that are life affirming and that represent creation and the creator, it then becomes something totally different that does just the opposite, that tears away at our very being and leads us to, kind of a self-destructive state. So with Black culture, we believe that is a culture is a tool for healing, an instrument of healing. It's about how we use it and what we put through our expression to help bring wellness and health and wealth to Black communities and the Black people.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot, bro. I need a schedule. I need that in writing.
Go to blackcultureweek.com. You see the whole thing. And it's the introduction, like I said, a Black culture wellness approach that we would like to see help shape policy and community development. And the whole theme of celebrate, commemorate, collaborate is something that, amongst us, we do all the time, but we would like to see the community do it all the time. So we hope that the spirit will carry with us 365 days of the year. This time around is really just kind of an introduction of the concept. We look forward to making it an annual event that grows and hopefully is able to be a support and or a part of the various community empowerment and community health and wellness activities that we do all the time.
Is there a number that folks can reach you?
I've just been giving out the website.
Okay,
that's fine. Go to the website. You can get on the newsletter. You can, email us directly, and then someone will respond to you from there.
Give us that website again.
www.blackcultureweek.com.
www.blackcultureweek.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay, folks, you got that. That's TJ Crawford, our brother, one of the co-founders of the New Black Leadership. Wanted to say before you get off, brother TJ, when you talked about, you mentioned one event over at the Silver Room, and you said it's a pre-discussion regarding black love. Is the black love still, does it still exist, right?
Do you still believe in Black Love is the title of the discussion, and it's a pre-Silver Room Block Party. You know, the Silver Room Block Party is a huge event that happens every year on 53rd Street. So this is in the spirit of that as they prepare for it. They're joining with Black Culture Week to help us accomplish the goals and some of the things that we share.
What's the goal for the Silver Room gathering? I mean, it's like, I know with all of the stress and all of the madness and etc. 53rd Street is interesting. They just had the Brew Fest. I know one of the days the rain chased everybody away. Sunday, it was a little chilly out there, I understand, but people still piled up out there. What is it that when we talk about, I mean, which is interesting to me, that we go on 53rd Street. We don't really, I mean, I guess there's a couple of joints on 53rd Street that black people own, but we don't take this to 47th Street. I guess we embarrass how 47th Street look, or how 51st Street look, or maybe even 35th Street or 43rd Street, or maybe because the people that is hosting these events or giving these events, they have business on 53rd Street. Is that right?
Yeah, so the Silver Room, they moved from the north side to their current location on 53rd and Harper. They did that maybe 4 or 5 years ago, if not even a little bit earlier than that. And they brought the block party with them. The block party's been going on for years.
Okay.
The Brew Fest is the result of what's the liquor store on 53rd? Jonathan Swain and his family's liquor stores off of 53rd and Woodlawn. They are the owners and creators of the Hot Park Brew Fest. So, that's the neighborhood in which their business is located. But interestingly enough, I was having a conversation while I was out at the Brew Fest with a gentleman who was talking about how great it was, and were we able to hold some of the other businesses on 53rd Street accountable, for I guess the money that they were making and some of the things that they were putting in place. But even though they own businesses, they are still renting space. So we need to take, that event and every other event that, has us and our capital and our spirit and our wealth of intelligence and culture and all that to spaces that we own. And unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit more work to get some of our folks to get out there. But we know if we have the right product, if we have the right service, if we have the right energy, then folks will follow. It's just about our ability to, I guess, take the risk and or be patient enough and putting our mind towards what ownership looks like, in the 21st century, to be able to develop those things in a way that will make sense for us, not just for one day, but for every single year.
Hey, give me the names of at least 5 of those folks that you're honoring.
Gian Foreman, Rita Lee, Anton Seals, Lakeisha Graysoul, Dwayne Powell, Aisha Jaco, Flavian Prince, Val Free. Who else did I mention or did I miss? J.R. Fleming. I think that's 10.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, well, bro, I like the fact that you understand and you have a vision, because that vision really needs to actually come into action soon, man, or we just continue to party. And that's the unfortunate thing about all of these events, is that we continue every year to party, and then what happens is you say, what capital in terms of affecting our sojourn, our culture, our struggle, and even with all of that, are we making progress, you think?
It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. Consciousness is continuing to increase. But also, so is poverty. So is folks who are involved in the criminal justice system. So is, the proliferation of false information that takes you further away from yourself. There are a lot of folks who are partying and kicking it and not really connecting that to, the growth and development of their community, but there's a good number of people that are partnering and building wealth and, helping us move things to the next level. The issue is, how do you connect the dots for those who have resources to those who don't? How do you collaborate in a way that moves beyond, traumatic experiences that we've all had, that makes us then wary of one another? It makes us hyper, sensitive. It makes us, paranoid to a certain extent, or to a very real extent, about what someone else's intentions are when we work together, which then makes us quick to move away from one another. So how do we create environments and situations where we recognize the harm that has been done to us, but also gives us the opportunity to heal in a very intentional way that then leads to us building all of those things which are necessary to sustain us both now and into the future. So, Black Culture Week in particular recognizes the healing power of culture, but it also recognizes that, first, let's just come together to celebrate one another. Let's build community. And if I can show you and you show me that you value me, you're willing to champion me and celebrate me for, the best of who I am, then that hopefully builds relationship that then gets to the real work that needs to be done, that we always talk about.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, bro. I mean, I love the work that you're doing. I know you are a solid brother. And I love the fact, man, that you stand firm with the goals that you set. I mean, you've been very, very focused and very deliberate with the work that you're doing. And I love the fact that you do believe in collaborating and, and commemorating. And the big deal is collaboration, like we are trying to do with Coalition, building and making sure that we bring other people to the table. Because, over in Hyde Park, it seemed to be a certain type of Negro sometimes to show up at those. Hey, TJ,
Yeah.
I see, no, but I see they mix it up a little bit, you dig, but we definitely gotta go and bust into the hood, man, with something in a courageous way. So even though a lot of people are afraid to demonstrate, you dig, on 79th Street, and they afraid to demonstrate out in the gardens. They're afraid to demonstrate on the West Side. I mean, the West Side people do all kind of parades and events and functions and etc. So you're right. We have to just keep on pushing. But I hope and wish that the outcome of all of these different events with all of the different brilliant minds that come into this room is really about freedom, justice, and equality, and not just trying to integrate into a falling society, but to build one quickly so that we won't be left behind.
If you go look at the website and you look at the principles of Black culture, they'll be very familiar to you. I know you honed in on the Hyde Park event, but other than that Hyde Park event, every event is one in a Black-owned venue, and most of them, if not all of them, are in the hood. We're intentionally doing the awards reception and fundraiser at Josephine's Cooking, a.k.a. Captain Hard Times, on 79th Street, so that we can bring this energy to the community, right? So this is they're going to see on this coming week. However, I think you'll see this coming week is going to be a fantastic thing as well. We just want to grow it, right? And again, this isn't anything new. Truthfully, it's a continuation of things in which we've already done, but simultaneously, it takes place during the time of Juneteenth. It's in June, so Black Music Month. It's also the summer solstice. There are a number of different things that, from a spiritual and traditional ritualistic, framework or background that gives reason for us to have Black Culture Week during the time in which we do it. Everything isn't necessarily needs to be so explicit for people to be able to, take what they want and run. Some of it is just feeling the spirit and energy and participating, and then we can grow from there. So wherever people can connect the dots, wherever they can plug in at, that's the starting point. And if we continue to build relationship and build trust and create collaborations that utilize the energy and the creativity of Black folks, there's no doubt that we're going to be able to change the heart and minds of people, which then leads to changing what our way will affirm life and breed life in an instance that recognizes and supports and gives honor to God, both for now and in the future.
All right, Brother Mike, you got any questions for Brother T?
No, sounds great, Brother TJ.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. I'm glad the coalition continue to move and be supportive of this and vice versa. So let's enjoy the week and move on to the next in that spirit that we've developed in growing community.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Brother T.J. Crawford, man. I'm always proud of you, bro. Love you and respect you and really, really, really need to promote more of you and the work. So I hope that those who are viewing this and listening, Facebook Live and other means, that you go and participate, because he had a menu of different activities as it relates to our culture, as it relates to just us as a group of people showing more unity, Black love, and trying to figure this thing out. So, bro, thank you and look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes, sir. Can I say this last piece?
Oh, absolutely. You, TJ Crawford.
I appreciate that. It's Black Culture Week is a culture wellness approach to healing and empowering Black communities. So when we come together in these events and we participate in all these different cultural pieces, the science behind it of how it impacts the way that the mind works, how movement that's based off of, cultural tradition, values, and principle sets, it literally will heal people when done consistently and then surrounded by the supports that are needed for folks to be able to recognize who they are, whose they are, and what they need to do and how they need to do it. So by coming out and participating in Black Culture Week, you are helping us demonstrate this power in a way that hopefully will last beyond just the event. It'll be something that is life-changing. It's part of a process, so some might get it instantaneously, but others will get it over time. But if we keep pushing this piece forward with other things that we have going along with us as well, for me as a evolving clinician, that's why it is a cultural wellness approach. It's not just being done for doing its sake. I have a better understanding of movement now. I have a better understanding of I guess, how we interact in a way that leads us to our best selves, and linking with others that have that same developing understanding like yourselves. And we're going to actually bring some healing. We want this to infect policy. We want it to infect how we engage. We want it to be a part of a development approach. It's far more than just a series of events, and but people will see that and feel that as they continue to participate in the things that we're laying out.
All right, brother. Thank you, Brother T.
Peace
and love,
TJ.
soldier.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
you too. Yeah, that's a great lineup, Minister Mike, when we talk about culture and when we talk about the various contributions of folks who have really contribute to trying to keep our culture with us, bring our culture back with us. But let's deal with this culture piece. What do we see, Minister Mike, now that's not our culture, but is a subculture of our existence? And you can, as a clinician too, look at it historically and bring it right now in terms of the behavior, the mindset, and attitude of Black people as it relates to subculture.
That's a loaded question. Well, one of the things that I would say is the subculture that we've kind of find ourselves trapped by is the over monetization of our lifestyle.
Ooh.
So Black people have always, singing, dancing, art of all forms. It's a part of our nature. Cooking and libation, and all of that's a part of what black people did before we came under the thumb of Caucasians. But in today's time, we our overemphasis on materialism, in my opinion, affects the culture we produce. Some of us do it from a bourgeois level because we have more education. We kind of have made our way through mainstream institutions. And then others of us do it from the hood level where we made our money from the street. We made our money in the underground. But whichever group we may or may not fall into, you find that we don't just we've kind of infiltrated the celebration of each other based upon material status more than anything else. So whether you the baller that's making it rain, or you the more sophisticated person who's got a black card and you smoking cohibas or whatever, we kind of, a lot of us make that the hallmark of what makes us worthy of being celebrated. So I think our culture, our traditional cultures, wrap more around the ideal of you being a worthy individual in the community, that your parents thought highly of you, your elders thought highly of you, your classmates, y'all went whatever rights you went through to receive manhood or womanhood, you were honorable in that thing. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Whether your family was the most wealthy one or not, we celebrated you. But oh man, that brother there, he's the you a runner. So we would celebrate you because you perfected speed, or you perfected the horn, or like your father. These innate, esoteric, internal characteristics were, in my understanding of our ancient cultures, was what made us that enriched our sense of culture. And here in America, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, and I think that's what you were kind of poking at, and I'm glad you said that because it gave Brother TJ a chance to clarify. But a lot, we kind of stratify the way we celebrate based upon not only financial status, but how we earn our money. So it's hard to get the brothers who earn money on the underground, if you will, to intermingle with the brothers who happen to have blessed with parents or whatever that push them to go to school and get a corporate type job. Well, we all the same. We just may not have, you know what I mean? So but we really don't, generally we don't. I mean, that was a good point. I mean, the brothers on 39th Street, some of them will go to 53rd Street. Some of them do. But by and large, it's a different type of, the brothers from Robert Taylor, right. A lot of them, they got a different celebration going on. So like most
he's so right, because we do this thing every year behind Diet School, and it will be filled with people, and it will be music, it will be folks hugging each other, it would be folks out there eating, sharing stories,
right,
just embracing each other,
right.
They might not see each other for a whole year or so, but the expression of unity, of love, of family, of friendship will be exhibited that day.
Mm-hmm.
So when you mention the word enrichment, I was thinking too of something that I hope you will share with us and talk about assimilating. Because have we assimilated so far to where we at our convenience do the cultural thing? It's like the dashikis, and it's like the black power used to be black power.
Right.
Because when we talk about cultural, you hit something, brother, that I was thinking, Mike. I said, damn, Mike's saying it, because we talk about the porch lights coming on, or the street lights coming on, rather. And we would, as part of our culture. And now, was that our culture in Africa, or what's been called Africa, the motherland, or some of that we call culture? Have we been Americanized to the point where we've assimilated, and some of this stuff isn't our culture?
Well, that's true on both levels that I just described. See, the folk from 39th Street or Stateway or Robert Taylor or whatever, that's a level of assimilation, because you can't go to that celebration and say, don't cook no hog. You can't go to that celebration and say, don't do some.
When in Rome,
it's gonna be some ratchet stuff. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a little, it's gonna be real earthy, but it's gonna be some bad habits that we picked up. You know what I mean? In America, just like when you go to the more sophisticated group, they're assimilated also.
Boy.
It's just that their assimilation is more polished than the rest who, didn't get that part. But we all have some vestiges of assimilation. The challenge for the cultural organizer like Brother TJ is, can you grow something? Because he's trying to bring not only the celebratory part, but intermingle that with information that should help you reframe how you see yourself as a black person.
Teach.
So how do you bring Stateway and the Ickies, and how you bring some of that element over with the people who grew up in Peel Hill and and South Shore and other parts of the city where they had a different type of upbringing, a little more polished of an upbringing. How do you bring that together where the unifying force isn't solely about dance or alcohol or the accoutrements of having a good time? How do you get, what I'm saying? How do you get these two to come in the room, the one from the sophisticated side to lower their ego a little bit, you know what I'm saying, and know that they got something they should be offering to their people, and get the brother from the hood, from the projects, to say to himself, well, I got to have an open mind, because I can learn from my brothers and sisters who had the benefit. They didn't have to go to work on streets and sanitation. They went to IBM or wherever, Microsoft or whatever, but they're culturally aware, they're culturally sensitive. How do we come together now and break bread on a cultural level? Because we've all been assimilated. So we do need to be able to interact, to say, if you from Stateway Guards, you need to be able to tell me, not, bruh, you acting like a white person. You know what I'm saying? That's mighty white of you. And you need to be able to, you need to hear from me, well, bruh, you can't be throwing trash on the ground in the hood. You know what I'm saying? We go party, but we can't just throw the wine bottles in the we've got to help elevate each other's consciousness so that we can get to ourselves and then generate a more healthy culture.
Let me ask you, Mike. So you just spoke of when we become savages.
Yes.
When we act like the beast on the field, we ready to fight.
Right.
We ready to argue over some stupid stuff. But then if we if the sisters out there dancing, if they dancing, too alluring, then it's unbecoming, because there's another group of our community that would be offended based on they dance. But then when you spoke about the alcohol, I was cracking up inside, because some people actually go out there and get wasted.
Oh yeah.
That's a white term. Drunk is a black term. One lit is a black term. Wasted is a white term. But they get messed up.
Yeah, but when you talk about the seductive dancing, that's a good illustration, because in the culture of West Africa and parts of East Africa, if you look at West African dance, by and large, it's very seductive.
Oh yeah.
Right? But it's done in a way that expresses a higher culture. So it's not done in a way to denigrate the woman, and it doesn't invite the male onlooker to be disrespectful to her. So some of us will take that same type of dance and you know what I'm saying, we lose that cultural element to it. But I'm saying,
boy, that's funny, because I've seen Najwan,
Najwa.
and the Montu,
Mm.
the Montu dances.
Mhm.
And when you see those sisters, the beautiful sisters
Mhm.
dancing, now we've been conditioned. So let's talk about, was it our culture to where we just say, wow, they great dancers? Or did the men back then, when in West Africa, when they was dancing, were they looking at, they just say, man, she fine?
Of
Or
course, that's human
that's
nature.
human nature.
But the way you express that, because if we coming
Teach,
together, that's
Michael.
like us coming together at Big Mama's house, where your mama dance, my mama dance, auntie
Right.
and them dance. You know what I mean? And women are women.
Right.
So, all dance has a sexual element to it, whether it's stepping, right? Whether it's house dancing, whether it's bopping, whether it's walking, whether it's African dance of some type, whether it's belly dance, which is East African. That when you give women are powerful creatures that any natural man is going to pay attention, right? But how you how to take it out of the context, because it's still expressing some culture. It's not just purely sexual. It's not just purely sexual when it's in a cultural
Hey,
context.
Wanda, I know you've been listening to this. Mike, you have hit the nail on the head. I'm getting ready to go someplace on this, because it is culture. And Mike, dance have a sexual, not tone, but just the way God created us as human beings, right? But we lose it all in Atlanta. So when we go to Magic City, although there's movement, almost like the Montu dances, but they call strippers now, right? And making it rain. But deep down inside, that woman, that beautiful black woman, is entertaining. She really don't want, I believe, to be just a sex object. She's entertaining the man. Now, but when you talk about, Mike, you said whether it's dance, whether it's stepping, whether it's line dancing, or whatever it is, there are dancers who do it a certain way. Some do it to get attention. Some do it for survival. You know what I mean? Some do it because they bored. So when people show up at a cultural event, there are some people coming to that event because they feeling it. As Brother TJ say, the spirit of collaborating, the spirit of of unifying, the spirit of commemorating, and the spirit of working together, etc. But I mentioned assimilation, and I'm so glad you said that, growing up in the Robert Taylor, that we have assimilated to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
We've assimilated to some degree. When I came back from school, how much time we got, Wanda? We got to wrap it. So when I came back from school, Mike, you right, 100%. I spoke to the guys under the building. When I came back, I said, "What's up, guys?" They said, "Guys? Who the hell is that?" So do I supposed to say, "What's up, Ian?" They was like, "Come on, Cisco." Damn, man, what happened to you? I was like, "Hey, bro, I've been in Moline, Illinois, and Iowa." Hell, that's what they were saying. But I ain't lost who I am. Hell, we got to learn how to be flexible, but don't sell yourself out. Don't change who you are.
Right.
But Mike, we got to do this some more, because I think this conversation needs a part 2 in terms of our culture.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Share the live. I guess I'm off for some kind of reason. Facebook must have stopped me, because mine went totally out. What the hell happened right there? Was it you, Wanda? And we still live on Mike. Peace out. Thank you, Brother TJ.